All right, so good morning, everyone. Sandra just said she's going to be leaving a little early because she has an appointment, but we're just happy to have you here, Sandra. We haven't heard anything from you, and so I don't know. Do you want to say good morning to everyone? I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you're going to leave early,
Good morning. It's nice to see all of you and to be back with you. Sorry I have to leave early.
it's all right. We missed you, and it's great to see your face. Welcome, everyone. It's just after 10 o'clock on April 21st. This is an open door, which is a beautiful space, a beautiful community that's hosted by the Reverend Cindy Krupp. Um, and today we're going to take a look at um, lesson 97, which is on page 172 of the Blue Book and 1123 of the Purple Book, in case you want to just open to that. Normally, what we do a bunch of different things these mornings, but I always focus on the lesson, and we're on lesson 97, I Am Spirit, today. And I'm going to read from the Blue Book today, but I'm also going to bring in the guides. And I'm glad that Rana is here because Rana's talk yesterday and our sharing yesterday really lit me up. I think it lit a bunch of us up, and I'm sorry Chuck's not here. I know he has other things to do on Tuesday mornings, but I think it lit Chuck up as well. The conversation that lit me up yesterday centered around the idea of surrender. And so I want to just read a little bit from lesson 97, I Am Spirit, and then I want to take it to the guides. So lesson 97 says, today's idea identifies you with your one self, and self is capitalized. Rana made a point yesterday, which I just loved, in that she really focused on the words that were different. She drew our attention to how the lessons or the words of a course are really important. And so this self is capitalized. And in A Course in Miracles, the self, capital self, is the one self that knows itself one with its source. And I think that's the same as spirit. So this idea identifies you with your one self. It accepts no split identity, nor tries to weave opposite factors into unity. It accepts no split identity, nor tries to weave opposing, not opposite, opposing factors into unity. It simply states the truth. Practice this truth today as often as you can, for it will bring your mind from conflict to the quiet fields of peace. So what does this have to do with surrender? The guides tell us that you cannot be a victim and a master at the same time. But to the ego, surrender means I am a victim. Surrender and victimhood to the ego go hand in hand. Mastery and surrender to the ego are oxymorons. They're not a match. They can't ever match. But I want to say that mastery, it seems to me, is surrender, because every master has admitted that they don't know and been willing to open to knowing something new or knowing in a different way. And so when I say, I am spirit, I have to admit to myself, I have to be willing to say, I don't really know what that means. I'm not really sure what spirit is. We think we know, but do we really know? So A Course tells us that, see if this is in this lesson today. It says the nature of our true reality, being of God, is changeless and eternal. Contrasted with the body or the embodiment of the ego, which changes and dies. So A Course defines spirit as the thought in God's mind, which is the unified Christ. And that's not in today's lesson. I just kind of looked up, what does spirit mean in A Course in Miracles? And the closest I could get was that it's the nature of true reality, of our true reality, and that it's changeless and eternal. And we could say, well, that's consciousness, right? Or awareness. But then A Course also tells us that consciousness is the first split out of God's mind, because consciousness introduces perception into the world. Consciousness perceives itself and something else. So that didn't really help me too much with defining what is spirit. It didn't tell me, well, spirit's consciousness. So I still am left, this is just me talking here, I still am a little bit confused. So is spirit the witness? Is it consciousness? Or are there levels of being? You know, do we, this is a question I haven't answered for myself completely, but do we make spirit an object? Some people look at spirit and they see this amorphous thing that looks kind of physical and has a shape, but it's not fully materialized, and they call that a spirit. We talk about spirits like spirits are plural. Well, is there only one spirit, or are there many spirits? And I'm not doing this to try to confuse us. I'm really asking these questions myself and just opening it up for today. So I decided I would take a look at a book that I really like, and I hope that we'll read it sometime. And it's the Spiritual Discourses of Atmananda. This is a phenomenal book. Actually, there are 3 volumes. And here's what Atmananda says, and I think this is really good. He says, if you concede that God created this universe, then we have to admit that God existed prior to the creation of it. Okay, that's pretty simple. If God created the universe, then God must have been prior to the creation of this universe. But this human mind is capable only of knowing objects or thoughts or emotions, the material world, and even ideas arising as mental activity. Right. The Tao becomes before the name of God. So spirit is spirit, an idea that arises in the mind. And here's what Atmananda says about it. She says, in order to visualize God as God existed all alone, even before creation, we have to utilize some faculty that is present in all of us, but that transcends creation. I'm going to read that again. In order to visualize God as God existed all alone before creation, we have to utilize some faculty that is present in all of us that transcends our own creation. That's difficult. This lesson says that we should sit. It says today, I'm looking at paragraph 3 here in the lesson. It says, today we try to bring reality still closer to your mind. Each time you practice, awareness is brought a little nearer, at least. Sometimes 1,000 years are saved. 1,000 years or more are saved. Boy, that hits me really hard because I would love to save 1,000 years. The minutes which you give to sitting with this lesson are multiplied over and over, for the miracle makes use of time, but is not ruled by it. Salvation is a miracle, the first and the last. The first that is the last, for it is one. So how does this relate to surrender? I'm going to read from the guides here because this is another way of practicing. And Cindy turned me on to this yesterday. It's on page 212 of Divine Union. And don't worry about finding it. You can if you want to. I'll give you some time so you can look for it if you want. But mostly I just want you to just think about this because it has to do with surrender. If you wish, each day, take time to sit wherever you sit, which is the only place you are choosing to be, and allow yourself to simply be. Sit wherever you are and allow yourself to simply be as the divine self. Allow yourself to simply be as the divine self and allow the divine to perceive all things as you. Don't try to perceive as God. Effort is not possible here, but understand that the requirement is simple. Through presence and being, and through the alignment you have claimed thus far, you become the conduit, or the channel, or the tower for Source to work through. So I wanted to contrast that a little bit, and then maybe we'll sit for 5 or 10 minutes and practice this. But I wanted to contrast it a little bit the guide's teaching and A Course in Miracles, it's very much the same. But when I read the Course teaching on this, to sit in knowing I am spirit, it leads me to try to feel inside myself and imagine in myself, what would that be like for me to know I'm spirit? But I don't know. Not really. I have to surrender the idea that I can imagine what spirit might be. I have to surrender that. So what do I do if I surrender it? I get out of my own way and I allow myself, my knowing, my awareness to be open to be a conduit. As the guides say, whatever is brought into my awareness comes from source. And I don't have to make meaning out of it. I don't have to turn it into a thought. I don't have to try and do anything with it, right? I just wait. And if nothing comes, nothing comes. I am grateful to be in peace for those minutes that I'm sitting open. And the more I do this, the more often I do this, the clearer my channel becomes. Right? The more I get to know and become familiar with this silent space, the more I become familiar with receiving rather than perceiving. And that's my guess about how I become familiar with spirit as it moves through this awareness. So I want to just read one more thing, and then I'm going to suggest that we sit for about 5 minutes in this receiving, and then we'll open it up and talk about surrender. It says, the Holy Spirit will be glad to take 5 minutes of each hour of this day. Each hour of this day. How important is it? Maybe that's not the right word. How willing, how open am I to just giving 5 minutes of every hour of this day to save 1,000 years? Then I realize there's no time, etc., etc. But how willing am I to know myself as spirit? Isn't that why I'm here? So take 5 minutes every hour and sit. He will not overlook one open mind. God will not overlook one open mind that will accept the healing gifts they bring, and He will lay them everywhere. He knows they will be welcome, and they will increase in healing power each time someone accepts them as His thoughts and uses them to heal. What does that mean? It means when we sit in openness and allow ourselves to be the space in which Source manifests through us, the greater our healing power becomes. But to understand ourselves as spirit, we have to surrender what we think we are. So let's take 5 minutes and just sit in surrender. And if you can't surrender, surrender not being able to surrender. anything that comes up, just surrender it. So I'm going to turn my screen off and invite you to do the same. Let's sit, I'll time us, and then I'll bring us back. So go ahead and begin. This is from the guides again. Now, when you surmount the old, move above and beyond the old, the new is unfamiliar. What exists beyond the veil of separation is unknown to you. And to acknowledge that much, I am in a new territory, a new landscape, a new way of abiding in truth, will support you greatly. To presume that you know where you stand, when in fact you do not, will only confuse you. To surrender to the new is to be taught by the new, and to trust the new is to have faith in where you stand. So I am spirit. I am free. I am still as God created me. And I will know myself as spirit through my surrender, through my surrendering of the idea that I might know what spirit really is, because this is experiential, right? And I am spirit. So how do I experience being spirit? Through surrender. I gain my mastery through surrender. Right? I gladly choose the second place to know the first. And that's what I've got. So let's open it up and see where this takes us. Thank you. It's funny. I had a direct experience of surrender just as we started this meditation. My husband, God bless him, has a little alarm on his phone, and sometimes he sets it and then he forgets that he's set it and it goes off. Beep, 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 beep. And he did that this morning just as we went into this meditation, and he placed his phone right outside my office door. So I surrendered to that. Yeah. William, you are up. Good morning, Sir William.
Good morning. Good morning. I've been getting so much from this. I guess what's helping me is knowing what I'm not. Wow, that's the part of what I think I know that's not, I'm not, I'm not. Who am I? It's the knowing I'm not. And it seems like to me, there's two different kind of knowings. One is with the small k knowing. Any kind of knowing is not it. Not that, not that, not that. There's a different kind of knowing that can't be expressed. It's no separation. I just am. I am. I am. Even I am surrendering takes me out of the moment of now, here and now. That's all. That's all. One, one, one. And as soon as I think I know, I'm out of that separation. So it's that constant reminder. I'm not that. I'm not that. It's just that easy to stop. The moment I am a word, I am a thought, I am anything. That's not, that's not, that's not. It just seems so much quicker. And then I don't know, but it's a different kind of knowing. No separation, no separate, just here, now, here, now. I am, I am, I am. And it doesn't matter how many times I'm not that, because it's that little snooze button that you talk about with your husband. There's a little snooze button that's going off more and more. Oh, I'm not that. I'm not that. Okay. I don't know, but here I am. I'm here now. Whoops. No. Okay. So that's the dance I've been enjoying. And I tell you, somehow these words I've heard, but that's not who I am either. But boy, something clicked. So thank you. And
Yeah,
thanks.
thank you. That's a great book. We should read that sometime, or read excerpts of it sometime. Yeah. Thank you. Good.
Excuse me?
Oh, I am that. I think it's Nisargadatta Maharaj.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. It's wonderful. We could just read excerpts of it. Yeah. All right, John, good morning.
Good morning, sweethearts. It's so nice to be here with everybody. It really is. I missed the meeting yesterday. I'm back to gardening again, so I won't be present so much. I'm sad about that. So I want to thank you for your pointers this morning. It's very helpful for me, and maybe even just just the pointing about where I am now, or where I think I am, or who I think I am, or what I am, or what any of the I is. Because what came for me, and I just want to share that, is the idea of spirit itself. And for me, Amy, it's a useful reminder that the only information I have about that is really from the Bible. If there's anything, that when it said in Genesis, the Spirit of God moved over the face, or the breathed over, or hovered over, or whatever. But it didn't tell you, much more from theology what that is, other than the fact that it's not God, it's the Spirit of God. So it's something from God, God's breath, or whatever it might be. So from my understanding, that spirit hovered then is the same spirit that hovers in every cell of our bodies, and in everything that exists today. We're truly and utterly dependent upon it. So my knowing of the pointing today is really just to get, and this is the key for me, is forget about, if I could just come across with an attitude of curiosity. The more curious I get about it, the more I will be attracted to the thing that I'm looking for, which is knowing myself, knowing more about myself, and being present for myself in that now. Because that's the trap for me, is that it's such a rare occurrence to be in the now. I have so little knowledge about that. The self-referential is always pointed back to something that I learned, or something that's going to happen, but it's never present. Like it's so difficult. So just to take the 5 minutes and even wake up with your husband's bell is a big deal. If I'm allowing my pointers to go, just an openness, surrender to curiosity itself, and I think that, for me, it vibrates. The more powerful that curiosity gets, the more curious I get. It will be like the cat in Alice in Wonderland. He's just curious and curious, and that will, like if I go down this deep well, I'm going to land somewhere. And as I go, I'll gather stuff. And I know I'm blathering on now, but it points me to that I'm on the right track. I'm attracting the right people. I'm in the swimming pool with my guides, and I'm even being pointed to go to my feelings, but I know they are responsible to the past and my future. Everything is just being open to like surrender. I don't know freaking very much. But I have had a couple of referential experiences of being in the now, but that's about it. And the only great thing for me is just to be in the presence of other people who are on the same journey, and the strength that I gather from that, the courage, the just is so helpful for me, Amy. Anyway, I'm going to stop there, but I'll miss you guys, well, because I'm doing my gardening now, and I have to go and do seedlings and all this kind of stuff. So I just love you, and I love you so much for the pointers that I get, and I love myself for putting myself in that environment. I'm choosing this to be more curious and finding people who do the same thing. And together we'll bind arms together. We'll crack the nut of consciousness, hopefully. Love you.
Thank you, John. Gardening is as close to God as you can get in some ways. Yep. Good for you. Cindy, you're up. Good morning.
Good morning. First, a reminder to all of us, there are replays of 5 of the 9 meetings, including the Monday meeting, John. So even though we would miss hearing you, you can listen to us, right? That's number one. Number two, there is an MPP class that's already created based on I Am That. So after this next one, we can set it up and all it is highlighting specific ones of these talks and inviting participants to pull a phrase, a word, a line, and contemplate it. And then we come together once a week to share it. So it's already structured. Why not do it that way if we want to? What I want to say, though, is that I'm in this space of listening and recognizing everything is for us. So I'm so grateful for everything you just shared. This is going to sound strange. But one of the things that I now understand I'm being invited to do is grab my phone and have it chime for me once an hour, to remind me to sink into resting His presence and being and allowing the divine to perceive through me. So a lot of what you just shared, including your husband's, you sharing that, I'm going to do that right after this class. Just invite my phone to not set off an alarm, but just to give me a chime to invite me to come back to presence once an hour. So
How do
thank
you
you for
do
that.
that? How do you do that without setting off an alarm?
I will do it and then I'll tell you.
Okay.
I know that I can. And it
Wow.
might be one of these apps like the
Okay.
whatever that there's a meditation app that has bells and you could literally set it up.
Insight timer.
Insight timer will allow me to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And then the final thing, which is so fun, when we're reading and I'm following the words, whenever I seem to receive a word that's different than what I'm reading, it lights up. And so you quoted lesson 328. And what I heard you, and I'm no longer stating that what I hear and what you say are the same, because I know everything, Nadega's already taught me everything is for me. So I heard something that had me open up the book. Whether or not you said it, doesn't matter. I heard you say something like, I choose the second place to know the first. That's what I heard you say. The lesson is I choose the second place to gain the first. And
Oh.
so I am inspired to read for all of us the first couple of sentences from that lesson. It's lighting me up and it's bringing tears to my eyes. So It goes like this. What seems to be the second place is first, for all things we perceive are upside down until we listen to the voice of God. It seems that we will gain autonomy, but by our striving to be separate, and that our independence from the rest of God's creation is the way in which salvation is obtained. Yet all we find is sickness, suffering, and loss and death. This is not what our Father wills for us, nor is there any second to his will. To join with his is but to find our own, and since our will is his, it is to him that we must go to recognize our will. So if I am spirit, I'm not anything else. So there is only one will. So this idea that I could have a will separate from the one will seems kind of, a Joe Goldsmith word, nonsensical. So when I recognize that there's something in me that seems to want something that's different than what you want, what I can know is that I'm feeding the sense of separation. And then how about not even wait for the chime to go off on my phone and instead rest in presence and being and allow the divine that knows only one will to flow through me and perceive as me. So
It's beautiful.
that's
I love it.
thank you. That's
Thank
what I
you.
have.
Thank you. Lonnie, good morning. I'm glad you made it.
You know, the divine does what the divine does to put you wherever you're supposed to be. And I'm supposed to be in a meeting right now that goes until 11:30, and things got changed and I went first and they let me go. So we were good. Yeah, after I put my hand up, there was about 18 different times I wanted to put the hand down. Um, Surrender is like my favorite topic right now. It's what's on the table constantly for us. I think we're moving into what, 12, 14, 16 months now of walking that surrender walk. And I was stuck back on yesterday. And the way I'm hearing where I was stuck on yesterday was surrendering my sense of separation frees the world, which is, I know, not what was said in the thing yesterday. It was something similar. And then John spoke today. And John spoke about curiosity. And I had this boom. Oh, okay, I see it. Because surrendering to curiosity means I'm surrendering to the unknown, means I'm willing to not know and to not know anything about whatever it is that's standing before me. But it opens up all other possibilities. And in that way, it does free the world from my limitations and separation. That willingness to not know anything. Somebody said something earlier, and every time I hear this, there's an echo through my system. And the echo is, we are nobody. We are nothing. And there's the personality that's there that says, do you really want to say that and believe? But through my system is, we are nothing. We are nobody. But there's a third line. We are all of it. And it's been this little mantra that Carly's been saying back and forth. Nothing, nobody, and all of it. But all of that too is the surrender of who all of this has believed itself to be. I love this topic. Years ago, Charlotte Joko Beck, I think it was Charlotte Joko Beck, she did a book, Everyday Zen. It was the first one that I read, towards spiritual stuff. And one of the invitations she made is don't think you need to sit down every single day for 30 minutes and meditate. That's not what this is about. Walk through your day. Take those pauses of meditation, 5 minutes, to see where you are and how you're standing in that moment. And so it kind of became this practice for me that through the day, that's how I walk. If when there's a pause, I stand in that pause and be still for a minute, just to see how we're all doing, just to see how we're all existing. And I'm so grateful for that invitation right now, because it's so easy to beat the crap out of yourself saying you're doing it wrong. What if there is no wrong? I like to believe that. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm going to be on the surrender path as well. I have
Be
a
careful
lot.
when you say it, because I'm gonna tell you something. When you make the claim and life starts giving you the opportunity to walk it, it's kind of like, holy crap, you really don't realize how much you've aligned to other until you
Oh,
make that claim and give it the opportunity to let you stand in it.
oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Cindy and then Patricia.
Another great book if you haven't read it. See, this is what I want to talk about. The Surrender Experiment. If you
Yeah.
haven't read it, it's Michael Singer. It's a phenomenal um, testimony, really, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, based on this topic, I am inspired to confess. Man, I love that word. That in my writing today, I write 99 days out of 100, maybe 200 days out of 201, most days. Um, and then I read it back. It's part of this daily diet process. And I, every once in a while, find that what I thought I wrote is different than what actually got written. And um, it's it's always meaningful. You know, sometimes I think it's spirit telling me to look in a different direction, and sometimes it feels like a resistance to let go is covering the direct experience. But I wanna read how this happened um, today because it's specific to what we're talking about. And this is this line. And what greater purpose could there be in my life for all sense of a me to continually soften, recognize, and willingly, and I thought I wrote surrender, but what I wrote was, and willingly separate every fear-based, and I skipped the word thought, as it is seen. I wrote that instead of thought. So I thought what I was writing was, what greater purpose could there be for all sense of a me to continually soften, recognize, and willingly surrender every fear-based thought as it is seen? What I actually wrote was, what greater purpose could there be for all sense of a me to continually soften, recognize, and willingly separate every fear-based that as it is seen? So the idea of being in the awareness of how the character, Richard is here, the character is feeding an idea of fear, and as it's seen, to surrender it. As I'm sitting with it in this group, recognizing that the invitation is to understand that every fear-based idea or thought or story separates, period. So, and that's the guide's teaching anyway.
Yeah.
Fear equals a belief in separation equals the experience of believing that there could be a place that God is not. So it all fits. And with that, I'll surrender the mic.
Thank you. Patricia, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I was struck when Lonnie said nothing. It was like such a relief to know that I'm nothing. I'm no thing. So all these thoughts, I'm no thing. And the surrendering into the new. If I'm no thing, I can surrender into the new because I've letting go of the past, of what I think I am or what I am, because I'm no thing. And I'm entering into the new if I'm no thing, because I don't know anything. I don't know. Thanks.
That is such a freedom, isn't it? Such a freedom. I mean, he
Feels
says,
like a gift to myself.
Yes, it is.
And how often do I forget? 99% of the day.
Yeah.
So now it's time to take responsibility and do something. Yeah.
Well, I come back to this thing that mastery and surrender are related, right? You have to surrender your identity as being the one that knows, right? It has to get surrendered because otherwise you won't learn anything new. And, he says, what exists beyond the veil of separation is unknown to you. And this world rewards us for knowing. I mean, you win in the stock market because you can predict what the price of stock will be. Or you win in the futures market because you know that corn is going to go down in 2 weeks, the price of corn. You win in school because you predict what the answers will be on the test, and then you get an A. All this life you win by knowing. That's why I love when I first read the course that said this world is upside down, and I just thought, oh my God, that is true. Everything that tells you that you know and that you win by knowing is wrong. We don't even know, as William said to us in the very beginning, what knowing is. John Klein talks about, he uses the phrase being listening, which I love. To me, that's total openness. It's just open presence, And we have to award ourselves, grant ourselves, take for ourselves these moments of being listening, because the world is not going to give them to you. We have to choose to be in being listening.
In wonder, in wonder.
In wonder. Yes, John. Yes.
There's nothing take responsibility for doing at all. That's just another thought. Like I just took a tray from the cafeteria and another tray pops up, another tray pops up, another tray pops up. It never ends. So this being, listening and in wonderment, it's enjoyed. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I love Cindy so much. I wanted to give her some feedback because she didn't ask for it, but I've heard it several times, she talks about, and I gotta confess this, I gotta confess that. And I say, I'm the Catholic, not Cindy. Now she's got all these confessions to make. And then I'm thinking, well, oh my goodness, this is thought going off again. Oh my goodness, she is guilty. There she goes. She's guilty now. She's confessing again. I told you so. Anyway, I just wanted to share that I love you, Cindy, and I love your confessions. And you can come to me anytime. I'll absolve you from them, all your sins.
Oh, all right, Lonnie, and then William, because I saw William's hand go up. But Lonnie,
I
you're,
saw it too.
yeah.
It's as you're talking about this because I keep pulling back and looking at the landscape of this walk for myself, and I realized too that every time I catch myself or this being in the efforting, the shift now is there's the doorway to be, because every doing is an invitation of being that I'm realizing in this surrender walk. Every I'm trying or every push to do something is that invitation to just shift out of that efforting and into just being whatever that is, being the openness, being the peace. Like if I say I want to be calm, I want to have experience calm, being that calm. You know, it just takes so much away from looking out there for it and putting the onus here. And it's just in recognizing, oh, here I am trying to do something. Let's go to this part of it and just be that. And it does become like an option almost, because once I see it, I get to decide, am I going to go into the illusion or am I going to go into the truth? And I know some people think it's not an option, but I kind of experienced it as one. And it's not that any of it is outside of God. It's just how I choose to travel or carry it in the moment, I guess.
Mm. Thank you. William, you going to close us out?
Well, I just see that not only does life do everything for us, it's whatever word comes, so many different words. Surrender, being, it's not the word, it's not the word. I'm not that. I'm the one. It's the feeling, the sense of now, now, now. Whatever the hell the words are that get me closer, wake me up. Oh, back home, back home, back home. Life is continually. Every time I suffer, it's a reminder. Every time I don't get what I want, it's a reminder. It's a trigger that's a little alarm clock. I just see so simple when I'm in the now. There's no separation. There's not even that word surrender. But the word surrender frees me to be, to be, to be. I don't have to know I'm nothing and everything. And then I like how Sao Po talked about it. It's just, let's take a holiday. Oh, let's take another holiday. It's just this reminder, a holiday, a holiday. It took me months before I could understand what is the hell is a holiday? It's just a word. But no, it's not just the word, it's what it points toward. And talk about curiosity. Isn't that the unknown? It's just love it. So it's just a reminder over and over. I'm not that. No, I'm not that. I'll take a holiday. Take a holiday.
Mhm. I love that. Take a holiday. Thank you, John. Thank you, William. Thank you, John, too, for the holy instant. Yeah, it's the same thing. William and then Indigo. I mean, William, I'm sorry, Richard and then Indigo.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say two things. If you're really interested in what the Course talks about mind and spirit, I go to the clarification of terms. The first celebrity is mind and spirit. It does an excellent job of explaining what it means in the course. The other thing I wanted to say, Ken Wapner used to say, we have the course tells us our mind is undisciplined. And what we need to do in order to be in contact with the divine moment to moment is to discipline the mind. William is a good example of that. He's always talking about being disciplined to be in the present moment, moment to moment. So, and he recommended that do not set your timer to go off every hour because you're not learning to discipline your mind. You're relying on the advice separate from the self to remind you to, but it worked for me. I did that for years. So, whatever it takes. Love us all. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for that share. And Dago, now you're going to close us out.
I'm so happy to be here. I just want to say that. And so I think I don't know. I thought I had bed bugs, but you know what? It doesn't even matter. It really doesn't matter. I don't need to do anything. Whatever is happening is perfect. It could be whatever it is. I don't need to understand it. I don't need to do anything. I can just be with it and love it. No matter what is happening, I can just love it and let the chaos or whatever just happen. That's here for me too. It's all here for me. So, yeah, it's so great to be here with all of you. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow. Well, good luck with that. Oh man, bed bugs. I would not be okay with that, but that's me. I would be asking for some help from God with that one. But thank you, Indigo. You always point to the truth, and that's a really lovely way to close us out. So we're going to meet again in 1 hour, and for 12 stepping, who's leading this one?
Livy, laugh, love.
All right, Livy. Okay, we'll see you in an hour. Go with God